Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, this is Billy Mack coming. What'd he say? Jake, I can't hear him. Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hey, this is Billy Mack coming to you live from Peden Seafood and Catering on MacArthur Road. Hey, this is Billy Mack coming to you live from Peden Seafood and Catering on MacArthur Road. So we've got to get him a set of headphones so he can hear it without having to.
That mic's a lot hotter. You can hear you. That one sounds much better.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hey, this is Billy Mack coming to you live from Peden's.
Yeah, that second mic sounds real good.
This is
That one's still low.
Yeah, I got him.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4. Hey, this is Billy Mack coming to you live from Peden Seafood and Catering, where tonight we're going to have the Pine Forest Coaches Show with head coach Bill Sachoka and some.
Let me turn.
I can turn them up more.
Yeah, go ahead and turn them up.
A little bit more.
They're both on
Now
the
the other one.
I'm in channel 1.
Alright, channel.
I'm in channel 1.
Channel one needs to be higher than the other one.
Oh, it needs to be higher?
Yes, because it's lower than.
Test 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is Billy Mack coming to you live from Peden Seafood and Catering, where tonight it's the Pine Forest Coaches Show with head coach Bill Sachoka.
Mark, what do you think? Turn it up, Mark.
Hey, good evening from Peden Seafood and Catering, where tonight we're live with the Pine Forest Coaches Show at Peden Seafood and Catering on MacArthur Road. For
There you go. Mark says it's good on his computer and it's good here on the phone.
Bauer Media.
Hey, what's up, folks? Happy Wednesday night to you, and welcome to the Pine Forest Coaches Show, coming to you live from Peden's Seafood and Catering on MacArthur Road for the best, freshest seafood in town, whether it's to go or eaten in. If you want it to go, call 488-7200. 1972. I knew it had the 72 in it. 488-1972. I'm going to write that down because I won't forget again. 488-1972. Peden's Seafood and Catering, Pine Forest Coaches Show. Tonight, we're brought to you by Scott Service Company. For all your air conditioning needs, call Jonathan Scott, and it's 309-2270. Whether you need new installation, whether you need service, whether you need a consultation, call Jonathan Scott. I can tell you from personal experience, Jonathan rocks. When you call, he's out there, he's prompt, he's professional, he shows up, and he's a man of his word. So when you need air conditioning service, call Jonathan Scott, 309-2270. We got a action-packed, power-packed media show for you tonight as all the football players are starting to roll in now. Practice just over. Bill Sochoka just walked in, so we're going to be talking to Bill. We're going to be recapping the game against Richmond Senior on Monday night. Had a little Monday night football. Dun-dun, dun, dun-dun. That's right. Little Monday night football. Raiders came into town, and the Trojans came up on the little short end of the stick. 40 to 14. 40 to 14 was the final score. But, hey, there was a lot of positives I saw. We covered the game for Mid-South Sports. A lot of positives for the Trojans, and they'll be on the road again this week as they go to Grays Creek to take on David Lovett, the Bears, and that wing T offense. We're going to talk to Bill Sochoka about that when we get him on here in just a little while. But we've got lots of action. We've got some of the tennis team going to be here tonight. So far, we've got Kayla Schmidt here. So if all the Schmidt parents out there, all the Schmidt parents are out there. Big match tomorrow. Is that match at home? Oh, it's at Terry Sanford. That match is at Terry Sanford. So you remember last week we talked about the new conference. You got the Patriot Athletic Conference. So you've got 4A and 3A teams. So Pine Forest last year, they were the 2016 girls 4A Mid-South Conference champions. Terry Sanford was the 3A girls Two Rivers Conference champions. Cape Fear Valley, Two Rivers. I'm telling my age. Thank you, Turtle. The Cape Fear Valley 3A Conference. So those two teams are now in the Patriot Athletic Conference, and they're going to be going at it tomorrow at Terry Sanford. Match time is 4 o'clock. So if you want to see the best tennis in the area, the two best tennis teams in the area, then you need to get to Bulldog Country. Head over there to Terry Sanford. But we're going to talk to all the tennis girls. Hopefully we're going to have some. Just had a big rain shower pass through here over at Peden's. So got a little weather going on. So everybody's a little bit delayed as Coach Sochoka just showed up. And bless you back there in the audience. But an action-packed week this week for Trojan Sports. I believe right now they have just kicked off at E.E. Smith, where the Pine Forest Trojan soccer team is going at it against the Golden Bulls. The Trojan soccer team, the boys soccer team, had a match last night with Pinecrest, slugged it out back and forth. Did they go? The Patriots came out on top 1-0. Soccer has been nixed tonight, so they have not just kicked off. We were busy eating some of that fresh seafood I was talking to you about earlier and not checking our updates. So soccer has been nixed. So we could have got Isaac. We're going to try to get Isaac in here next week because we have already checked his schedule and there is no soccer match for next week. But lots of things to cover. Again, want to say thanks to Jason Norton and David Colbreth for hosting us with the Mid-South Sports Network crew on Monday. What a beautiful afternoon it was, and Jason and David just did a great job of hosting it. Great crowd that came out. Now, I have come under a lot of fire from a post I put on Facebook Saturday night. Of course, no, all the games got rained out on Friday for the threat of rain. So all the games were either Saturday or Monday. So Saturday night, we get through watching NC State play, and we mosey over to E.E. Smith, my alma mater, class of '85, Golden Bulls. And we get there by the middle of the second quarter, and the marching band is going crazy. They got the crowd whipped into a frenzy, put on a great halftime show. They put on a great third quarter and fourth quarter show, and it's 25 minutes after the game, and they are still playing. So I simply put a post on that they're the best marching band in the area, still the best marching band in the area. And I have been hammered on social media from friends of ours who are band parents. Didn't say anything derogatory. Pine Forest was great, usually. But Monday night, they really didn't play because as I was told, their show wasn't ready. So we'll have to go back to Pine Forest and grade them later in the season on their marching performance. But I'm going to tell you, folks, from the start to finish, from the time they enter the stadium until the time they leave the stadium, E.E. Smith never stops at all. Roosevelt Pratt does not allow that. So they continue to go. They play, they march, and they don't only step, but they march in the vein of Southern and Grambling and all those great historically black colleges and universities. So that's what I'm graded on: the energy, the motion, and the continuous playing, and the way they get the crowd going. And so far, I've seen E.E. Smith, I've seen Southview, and I've seen Cape Fear, and all those are award-winning bands. But from a purely marching band performance so far this season, E.E. Smith is number one. All right, so we got an action-packed show. We're going to talk about soccer. We're going to talk about volleyball. We're going to talk about tennis. We're going to talk about golf, and it's all being brought to you tonight by Scott's Service Company. Call Jonathan, 309-2270. Whether you need install, whether you need service, whether you need a quotation, call Jonathan Scott with Scott Service Company, 309-2270. We're live from Peden Seafood and Catering. When we come back, we're going to run down some Trojan sports, and then a little bit later, we're going to have Bill Sachoka and Kayla Schmidt from the tennis team. But right now, we're live from Peden's, and we'll be right back.
Media.
Hey, welcome back to the Pine Forest Trojans Coaches Show, brought to you by Scott Service Company. We're here every Wednesday night at Peden Seafood and Catering for the best, freshest seafood on the north side or anywhere in town. Come on over to Peden's, right on MacArthur Road at the intersection of Honeycutt, or maybe you want to get a to-go order. It's 488-1972. Call Jimmy, Ricky, John. Tell them Billy Mack sent you, and you'll get the Billy Mack special when you come to Peden Seafood and Catering. But lots of action. School is now in session, week number 2, and lots of action heating up all over the fields. We talked about the soccer team, Isaac Rancour. Hopefully we're going to have him on next week, as the Trojans are not playing next week Of course, they may be playing since we were just told that soccer got canceled tonight. They lost a tough match last night, 1-0 to Pinecrest. Those teams did not play in the Miller's Crew Battle for the Bell tournament that took place in the preseason. Great tournament over at Terry Sanford High School. But great match last night. They are 6-2 on the year, 2-1 in the conference on this young season. Lots of stellar players. Always a great team over there at Pine Forest, playing on the Scott Strickland Memorial Field. But tomorrow night they will be at Westover. So that's tomorrow night, the 7th, at Westover. So if you're looking for some Pine Forest soccer, head on over there to Bonanza Drive. Look for Little Joe and Hoss when you head over there to Bonanza Drive to go to Westover. And then on Monday night, 9/11, Cape Fear invades Trojan territory as the Colts come across the river to take on the Pine Forest Trojans in men's soccer. So again, that's Monday night, the 11th, September 11th. Never forget. But they will be playing, and I'm pretty sure that game's going to be at 7 o'clock. How about some volleyball? Carolyn Parker's been doing a great job with that girls volleyball team at Pine Forest. How about those young lady Trojans, 2-3 in the conference, in the middle of the pack and ready to make a move up the conference ladder are the Lady Trojans. They lost last night to Cape Fear, a tough match against the Colts, but the Colts are the top team in the conference. They lost 3-0 last night, but hey, the girls have got a lot of confidence. They're going to come back tomorrow. We talked about tennis playing at Terry Sanford tomorrow. Volleyball plays at Terry Sanford tomorrow. Those matches usually start at 5. 5? Talking about volleyball. 5, thank you. Somebody's got tennis on the brain over there. You know, I told her today that Campbell's looking for a tennis coach. But anyway, Monday, the volleyball team will be at Western Harnett. So that's Monday the 11th, volleyball at Western Harnett. And then Tuesday the 12th, they're going to be home against the Grays Creek Bears. So if you want to see some great high school volleyball, come on over to Trojan Country over on Andrews Road. Again, you can catch them at Terry Sanford tomorrow night, at Western Harnett on Monday night, and then home against Grays Creek. Cheer on those Lady Trojans. They need to know your support. Again, 2-3 in the conference, but the season is young. They can still come out on top. They're going to get Cape Fear again. They're going to get Terry Sanford again. So those girls can play. Remember, just a couple years ago, they made it deep into the playoffs. So the Trojans have the talent. They just need you to come out and support them. Moving along, talking about tennis. We're going to talk a lot about tennis tonight. Could not get Jared Britt out here. Congratulations to Jared. He's got a newborn at home. He loves getting home to that newborn. So congratulations, Jared. Saw him Monday night at the football game as he and Darren were on PA for the Trojans. But they lost yesterday to Cape Fear 7-2, and the Schmidt parents have made their way here. We love Schmidt parents. They need their own intro. It's kind of like me. I mean, I like that Pack Power intro. Thank you to Mac Edwards for making that all possible. But we've got the big match tomorrow at Terry Sanford. Again, your two defending conference champions, 4A Pine Forest Trojans, 3A Terry Sanford Bulldogs. Those girls are going to be making some racket tomorrow at Terry Sanford. And then again, next Tuesday, the girls team is going to be home against Overhills. So two big opportunities for the Lady Trojans to make some noise in the Patriot Athletic Conference as they've got two big matches. Again, tomorrow's the big one at Terry Sanford. 4 o'clock is match time, so come on over to Bulldog Country. How about that girls golf team? They are on fire there under Coach David May. I did not know that David May could coach golf, but I mean, he's the epitome of Buttermaker. I got to give him credit. But we love David. He's also the girls basketball coach. We'll have him on before the season starts. They finished 4th on Monday in the match at Stryker. So congratulations to the girls. This Monday, they will be at Highland Country Club. Again, that's on Monday, September 11th. They'll be at Highland Country Club for the Patriot Athletic Conference match. So if you want to see some of the best girls golf in the area, then head over to Highland Country Club this Monday. And how about Kennedy Whitmer Mason in the top 10 in scoring. Way to go, Kennedy. You keep up the great work, girl. You're going to go places. We can wait to see your name in the newspaper coming up real soon. And then how about cross country? Had some folks participate in the Jungle Run last Saturday night. William Hales is the coach, or William Hales and Paige Faircloth. So they've got a home run coming up on the 13th. That's going to be a week from today. Home run coming up at Pine Forest. So if you want to cheer on those Trojan runners, then you need to make your way over to the school next Wednesday. The match will start early, so then you can come here to Pedens and watch the Coach and Trocha show. As again, we'll have all the latest on Pine Forest athletics right here from Pedens Seafood and Catering. But hey, it's time for the man, the myth. He is the legend. When we come back, we're going to talk to Coach Bill Sochoka, talk to him about the game Monday night, and then preview the upcoming game against the Grays Creek Bears this Friday night as the Trojans open Patriot Athletic Conference play. But from Pedens Seafood and Catering, brought to you by Scott Service Company, we'll be right back.
Yeah.
And we're back with the Trojan Coaches Show brought to you this week by Scott Service Company. For all your air conditioning needs, call Jonathan Scott, 309-2270. Folks, I can tell you firsthand, Jonathan is A-plus service. He does all of our work at the Restore Warehouse. When you call him, he shows up. He does exactly what he says he's going to do. He does not looking to gouge you. He's not looking to overcharge you. Great, reliable service. Scott Service Company, thank you for your sponsorship tonight. Again, call Scott Service Company, 309-2270. Again, from Pedens Seafood and Catering, the man, the head ball coach for the Trojans, Bill Sochoka. How's things going tonight, Coach?
Not bad, not bad. I really can't complain about the weather for what we're seeing to the people in the Caribbean. In fact, I have two players whose families are being affected by it. Tyreek, who you talk to later on, his family, most of his family's down in Jamaica, and another one of our players, same thing, most of his family's down in Jamaica, and they're getting hit by Irma. So just say our prayer for him and their family to get through the next couple of days, months probably.
Definitely will. And we saw some video just about 45 minutes ago from San Juan. And San Juan, I mean, just rain was sideways, just absolutely sideways. So for all of our folks down in the Caribbean, we're thinking about you, and still in Texas.
Yeah.
You know, Texas and Louisiana. I mean, we talked to some folks at school. They may not go to school until after Christmas.
Well, I was just watching CNN.com. Another one just popped up right off the coast. Another hurricane off the coast of Texas.
Yeah, it's down in the Gulf a little bit. So I think they said it's going to be head for Mexico. Jose is going to chase it to Mexico because Jose's right behind Irma. I'm not making this up.
He's true.
Not picking on anybody. So, but good game Monday night. I keep wanting to say Friday night, so ingrained in my head. But the Richmond Raiders came to town. Old friend Brian Till from Terry Sanford showed up. You guys really locked horns a number of times when he was at Terry Sanford. How did he look in the green this weekend?
I told him, I said, green looks good on him. In fact, we were sporting our yellow jersey, our yellow coach's shirt, and my wife said, "Why were you guys wearing yellow? They're yellow." I said, "Honey, we're gold and yet green, so it's going to have to come out." So, but they have a different color green. I don't even know what their green's called.
Like a lime green.
Yeah, they're like a lime.
Key lime.
Yeah. So, it was, I always tell him, a real short story. I met Brian Till when Dean Saffos had just retired, and we had not even interviewed anybody for the job. And he came by to visit his mom around Christmas time. And he came by, and he was interested, and I wanted to hire him then, but I couldn't because we hadn't even interviewed for the new head job. And what I respect about him was I told him, I said, "I'm hoping to get it. Would you be willing to come?" And he said, "Coach," he said, "I really put a lot of time with those kids in the weight room already. I really don't want to leave them." And he said, "Maybe next year." And then next thing I see, he's on the sideline at Terry Sanford 2 years later. So, but he's somebody that has a passion for the game. He's in the right place in terms of what they do out there football-wise, and just an amazing facility, amazing thing. So he's one of those rare breeds where you find a young coach who does everything. Some young coaches just want to do the X and O's, but they don't want to do the raising the money, talking to parents, doing laundry, painting the field. That's not fun. I said, but he understands that. He's put his time in.
And I think some folks, I got a report that some folks have already showed up the tailgate for the Butler game in Richmond County this Friday night. They are really serious about that. Would love to be able to go to a Richmond-Scotland game at the end of the season and see 12,000, 15,000 people. But we're hoping to see that in a couple of weeks when we're going to Austin. We're hoping to see Westlake High School at their stadium that seats about 10 or 12,000 people.
It's amazing.
So lots of good stuff there. But, fast start for the Raiders. They take the opening kickoff, 90 yards, right down the field. Caleb Douglas, before you guys can even really blink, you're down by a touchdown. The guy had a lot of speed. They have a lot of team speed, and that's hard to see on film. What did it look like from your perspective on the sidelines?
Well, yeah, that's team speed was there. You also saw in the punt returns, them getting on the outside. We did a pretty good job defensively wise, shutting down the middle. They were able to capitalize our inexperienced secondary. We had two big plays we gave up early in the first half, almost identical plays, and then of course the block punt that went for a safety. So they got 9 points off of specialties. But what I was proud of the fact that, with the opening kickoff, we came right back, and Levante Carter went, I think, 67 yards on a second play. And we did a really good job moving the ball. And I was very positive with the kids because I felt that 3 plays hurt us. Two pass plays, they hit us, in the first half. And I think they had another big run play, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the quarterback had a run, went for about 60 yards.
Those 3 plays hurt us. And other than that, I thought we did a fairly good job. And, as a coach, and I know there's going to be tweets about this, whatever, I said, but you got to be positive. And there was a lot of positives. And I even told the kids, this group is young. We've already dealt with so much adversity, injury-wise, and moving people around. And the big thing with them, I told them, I said, they're this close for being a great team. So they just got to fix the little things, and we're working on it. And they come out every day at practice. Their heads, always giving me 100% there, still going at it hard. And I told them, I said, preseason's over with. I said, we could go very easily. We could do what we need to do in conference and find ourselves a number 1 seed at 8-3, or really 8-2.
Exactly right. Run the table.
Right. We've done that before, and I said, that's and we're starting to get people back in that they haven't seen. Some starters are coming back off the injury thing. It's going to make it a little bit better for us. We found some younger guys who stepped up, who got the experience the last 3 weeks that, if those guys weren't hurt, probably would not have seen the field. So I feel good about certain areas of depth, particularly on the offensive line. For example, Jaquise, who we can talk to later, is able to go play some defense, and that makes a big difference for the defense to freeze up some people.
Sure, and that is only going to pay off dividends down the road when those kids get experience. They may start the year as a freshman or a sophomore, but by the time the year's over, I mean, if they've done it right, and I know you coach them up, I mean, they're a junior, you know, and you've got to play like a junior. You got 10 games under your belt. It's time to step up and show what you've been coached up and show people what you could do. Every Friday night's an opportunity to shine.
Yes, it is. You know, I always said it. You know, it's Friday Night Lights. Anything can happen, and as long as we keep getting better each and every week, you know, we're gonna win some games and put ourselves in a good position so that we have a postseason playoff.
You talk about Levante Carter, second play from scrimmage, takes off, hits a little hole, and once he hits that secondary, it's like he's got another gear, and he was gone 67 yards down the hash mark. Really whipped the faithful up into a frenzy early in the first quarter.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's what he did last year for the most part. It's taken him because he had some health issues. He had a very bad virus. It's taken him about 2 weeks to get over that. So he's kind of getting back to where he was last year at the end of the season. And again, the ironic thing was, you know, we had to rely on other people to move the ball, and that kind of just makes us better, more diverse in terms of our offensive play calling. So we had to start a true freshman at quarterback. It didn't do too bad. Richard will be back this week, but he got, I mean, what experience to get going against Richmond County as your first start. And, you know, he made some mistakes, but for the most part, he made some pretty good reads, kept his composure most of the time, you know, not all the time being a freshman, but it was definitely a learning experience for Jaden as well.
He was very elusive, it seemed like. It seemed like there was 4 or 5 times that he should have been sacked. He should have gone down. Next thing you know, he's ducking, he's spinning. And then on one of them especially, he had kept his composure, was able to find a receiver downfield to not only stop a sack, but pick up a first down. And you can't teach that. I mean, that's just natural athletic ability.
That and a lot of heart. I mean, you know, there's kids that when you lose a high school football game, at the end of the game, you could tell in their eyes and their body composure and their facial expression that it truly hurts them. And he's one of those kids. You know, when he makes a mistake, he'll come up the next day and say, "Coach, I'm sorry about that." And I tell him, you know, I appreciate you because you're still thinking about it 24 hours. It means something to you. I said, most kids your age will just, let's go to.
He's only 14.
Let's go to cookout, you know. But he
play some video games.
Yeah, he really means something to him. And I said, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. So if you learn from it, then it's called experience.
Yeah, he did good. I thought Dominic Roberto from the running back, how much has he grown? Because I don't remember him being that big last year. I mean, he's put on some weight. He's gotten tall.
The boys are over there going.
I mean, he's a load. He's bringing a load.
See,
now.
last year we didn't, you know, again, Dominique was a sophomore last year, and because we had Willis Anthony, we used him at linebacker. And that Dominique's one of those guys where, you know, he plays linebacker very well. He's all over the field. He's just a great kid. He really is, you know, he's a big kid, but he really hasn't been able to get in the weight room because he takes those AP classes and honors classes. So, you know, when you get him back in the weight room, he's really going to fill out. And that was the other thing. We thought this year we'd be able to use Dominique a lot more in offense than what we have, but because we were so banged up at defense, we had to keep him there. And but you saw Friday night what he's capable of doing. He really has probably one of the best visions of getting downhill and hitting the hole. And, you know, he's about a 4.5 40. He runs track. He's a big kid. I think we had him listed at 205 maybe on the roster.
He's bigger than that.
Yeah, well.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't say. He looks bigger than that.
Yeah, and you look at him, and I don't know, the boys were telling me the Richmond County. What was the Richmond County guys saying to him when you walked through the big? They were where's Big 8 at? So, and he only ran the ball a couple of times, but you know we did that against Purnell Sweat. He scored against Purnell Sweat. I don't know if he didn't score against Concord, but we would get inside, and he's kind of like our big down back. But he could do both. He could run the toss. He could run the zone. Just great vision.
Non-conference schedule is over now. Moving into conference play, going to Grays Creek this week. What's the strength of the offense at this point?
Well, I have to say that part of the strength I thought what I saw Friday night, particularly with our young, you know, our offensive line, because we only really had 2 starters back from. Well, initially I was going to have about 4 starters back in an offensive line, but because of injuries and other things, I didn't. We only have 2. That was my center, Dion Buchanan, and Fred Potts. All the other guys that played Friday night were either sophomore. I had a sophomore center, and Blake Marshburn did a really good job.
That was Blake Marshburn out there. Hey, thanks, Scotty, for your sponsorship last week.
Blake stepped in, and we went with it. Palmer Harden, we moved him late in the summer to guard. Another kid, Jordan Walker, who was a sophomore last year, plays guard and tackle for us. And then the other one that stepped up too was Jacob Ezel, got some playing time. So a lot of those guys would not be playing if my other guys were back. And I have 2 guys coming. I had those 2 guys actually coming back for this game, Elijah Robinson and C.J. Woodard. So when I told them, I said, well, you guys got to work back in the rotation. I mean, those guys played pretty well. I mean, they deserve to start. So you're going to have to fight back for your spot, because those guys put their time in. They played fairly well. They made some big holes when we need to. Richmond County was, they weren't as big as I thought they would be, but they were quick
I would agree. They did not look as big as what I've used to seeing before coming out of Rockingham. As we continue on the Pine Forest Coaches Show with head coach Bill Sochoka, turn over a look at that defense. They gave up a couple of the pass plays, but you take those away, like you said, and the defense played great, especially in the second half. I mean, Richmond did not score in the second half. What adjustments did you make? I know you can't tell me every adjustment, but what adjustments did you make at halftime that held them scoreless in the second half?
The biggest thing at halftime, what I told them was that, this team right here wants to go home tonight. They didn't want to play us on Monday. They were looking, come on, Brian, it's true. They were looking towards Butler. He wanted to play Saturday. We couldn't do it Saturday. I said they want to put 42 points up on you boys and go home so they could have rest for Butler. So you got to take some pride. And they did. And we were able to shut them down to the point where offense had times we could, we hurt ourselves more in the second half offensively than anything else. We were still able to move the ball. We just couldn't get it past, I think, the 30-yard line. A couple crazy penalties, offsides, things like that. But that's what I was proud about it, because they could have gave up that. It was 40-14 at halftime. So they could have easily played down, and we didn't. And they fought hard. They fought to the end. And what I liked about it too was at the end of the game, they had a look of confidence in them. They weren't tired. We weren't banged up. We played with them pretty physically.
For a change.
Yeah, for a change. And we really, I thought, from the standpoint of heart and determination, that was probably our best game, even though the scoreboard didn't show it, of stepping up to the challenge. We talked about the scrimmages. I got upset with them when they scrimmaged Northern Nash, and we kind of played down to their level. Well, we played up to that level. We did fairly well, and I was proud of them. Even again, we didn't win. I understand that, but you got to be positive and take what you can to catapult into the conference.
Absolutely. Who has surprised you on the defense? Who was somebody you're like, if he puts it all together, he's going to be a stud? Who's putting it all together on the defensive side of the ball at this point of the season for you?
Well, Tyreek, but Tyreek's not new to defense. Tyreek's new to, he played inside linebacker for us this year. Last year he played defensive end, and putting him back on a defensive end makes such a big difference because he's so quick coming off the ball that it frees up our interior guys like Isaiah Potts, Jock Keys, who played inside. Who is, I think, TJ or Devontae Miller. So it helps those guys. So, and they were getting in the backfield. I think we had 3 or 4 quarterback sacks on him. We got pressure on him pretty good. It took him out of their pass game for the most part. They tried to run that option. I don't think they were successful running inside. They got outside, I said, 1 or 2 times on the jet. That's where the team speed comes for in. So, but I was really, really happy the way they played overall. There's one kid I think that, for a year, in fact, we had a conversation, I saw him as a sophomore a couple of years ago, and he had a body, remind me of somebody else, that if he went to the weight room and put it in, he'd have people over him. I said, it's never too late to step up, but you got to do it now as a senior. And that was TJ McKinnon, and he's really giving his all. But I think the light's starting to get onto him, and he helps us on the defensive side of the ball as well.
All right, so the Trojans came out on the short end of the stick, 40-14 against Richmond. This week, though, you open it up against conference play at Grays Creek, another game on the road, 3 out of the first 4 away from Harold K. Warren Stadium. Was that kind of by design to give you some home dates at the end, or was that just the way it fell?
No, just the way, we've had some issues with scheduling. We weren't supposed to play at Concord. Lumberton dropped us like a hotcake. Didn't tell us until late. That's how we got Concord. So it should have been Purnell Sweat away, Lumberton home, Richmond home, away. So we were supposed to have one more home game. But talking to the Concord people, they were the opposite. They were going to have so many. I said, no problem. We'll figure it out. But, with the new conference, now you're looking for teams. We only had 3 conference dates, non-conference dates. Other teams have more.
Sure.
So it's difficult to find local teams. It used to be back in the day we could go right up the road to Harnett County and play those teams, but
they're all 3A now,
and they're all in different conferences, so they're forced to play each other non-conference, save money or make money. So it makes a big difference.
So David Lovett, been there for a while, had some success. Hadn't really. They had the big 2 running backs a couple of years ago, but they run that wing T offense. How do you? You don't see that. We saw it Monday night. Georgia Tech runs a variation of that. Navy kind of runs the wishbone, a variation of it. Have you had Bob Paroli over to help you with some of the nuances?
No, it's funny because growing up in Pennsylvania and playing small high school football, that's all you ran was a wing T. I was a fullback in a wing T set. We saw it all the time. Buck sweep, buck trap. All that good stuff. So,
So you're in tune to it.
I'm in tune to it, but I hate preparing for it because unless you run it every day, it's like you saw at Georgia Tech. You can't prepare for it in a week. And really, for us, it was a short week. We had yesterday to practice.
Because you probably didn't even practice yesterday, doing some walkthrough.
We did, but they again, those guys stepped up to the challenge. I told them it's going to be an extra long practice. We didn't run them as much, but we had to go through the walkthroughs. We did some teamwork, things like that. Plus, we knew the weather was coming in tonight, so our defense spent nothing but an hour going over their run plays. That's it in the gym today, and you got to see that fast. You could draw it up. You could see it's the timing, and he's smart because you ever notice his home jerseys, what color they are? All black. Tough to find a ball when you have black jerseys in. So
he's smarter than he looks.
Yeah,
kind of like me.
But and he's going to stick to it. And I went to Susquehanna University, and
but I'm getting better looking every day.
And Rocky Reese ran the wing tee, and I saw it there. In fact, I think it was when I had Harold and those guys their junior year. I called Rocky Reese up, my old mentor. I said, "All right, so you got to tell me how do you stop the wing tee?" You know what his answer was? Have bigger guys than they do. I said, "Thanks, Coach." That's all it takes to be a Division II coach, right?
There you go. Of course, you're ready to go, aren't you?
He told me what to do. So, but it's just one of those things. And those running backs, they have great reads. You can't give them a big gap or a small gap. They're going to hit it. It's meant for teams that don't have real big offensive linemen to have quick guards that can pull and get on your linebackers. And you really, really have to be disciplined. If you come up too far upfield, they're going to cut underneath. If you sit too long, they're going to find their holes.
You got to have a good quarterback who can read the defense and know when to pitch the ball, when to keep the ball. The quarterback for Georgia Tech the other night, I'm not sure if you watched the game, but he was phenomenal. He looked absolutely exhausted at the end of the game, but they had run for, 1,000 yards in one game against Tennessee. Butch Jones and those champions of life, UT Volunteers. Cedric McDowell was their running back, though. I'm sure you've seen him on film. What he said in the preseason, he thought he could run for 2,000 yards. He's at about 300 a day when I checked him. What makes him so good, and how do you slow him down?
His vision. That's what we talked about before. If one of our guys is slightly out of their gap or out of assignment, the ability to find that open hole. Because even though they run to a side and they might have a certain hole, there's some times where they will actually hit it where the guard that's supposed to block the end and where he's supposed to run, he'll hit it just when he left. So if you vacate too early, they're going to find that hole. the big thing is kind of like with anything with any wing T team is you want to bend a little bit, but you don't want to give up the big plays. I've always said this before. If you could get a wing T team in a situation where they're in second and long,
Third and long.
third and long is something that
Got to win first down.
right that they're not used to. If you allow them to get second and 5, you're playing right into their game plan because they in their mind I got 2 downs. If it's 4th and 2, depending upon field position, we're gonna go for it. So that's the big thing is trying not to give a big, and that's what David does a really good job is he looks for that big. I'm gonna sleep you to death, run this play, boom, come back with this play, and it's a big play. So he's gonna nickel and dime you here, and then all of a sudden, boom, he hits one for about 40 yards.
So that kind of leads to my next question: How do you make them one-dimensional? How do you make them a passing team by taking away the running attack?
Well, the big thing is contain him within the box, trying not to let them get to the second level. Those guards get on those linebackers very quick, and once they get on the linebacker, I mean, because the way you're set up their defense, it kind of forces you to put 8 guys in the box, which obviously leaves three DBs in the secondary. So it's pretty much that running back has his choice, right, left, or middle. Once he gets past the linebacker, so we got to contain him within inside the box and make sure they don't break out of it, get to the second level.
Offensively, you said Richard's going to come back. Richard McGeechern Jr. back at quarterback. That gives you some more weapons, and now you got Levante and Dominic in the backfield. You got Jalen and DJ on the outside, along with Jordan Gladney. That's a pretty potent offense right there,
Yeah,
Coach.
and one of the things that we talked about is because of our injuries, we rotate a lot of guys in, and it hurt us. Like guys that we threw in against Richmond County were jumping off sides because they didn't know the play. And we talked about it as an offensive staff. We're going to go with certain guys, and it's crunch time. it's conference time. You got to do what you got to do to win. So we're going to be in that situation. Unfortunately, I'm probably not going to have DJ Jones this week. He had he didn't want to tell me, and he actually played with this. So I'm going to tell you how tough this kid is. Saturday night, he flipped his four-wheeler, and from his hip to his armpit, nothing but raw red, and he played.
Saw that in pregame with his dad.
Played like that Monday, and never said a word to me till yesterday. I said, "How did that happen?" "I don't want to tell you, Coach." "Well, how did it happen?" And he told me yesterday he was on a four-wheeler.
It does happen. We've all had those situations. We were young and bulletproof one time. As we continue on the Pine Forest Coaches Show, brought to you by Scott's Service Company. Call Jonathan 309-2270. And when you want the best, freshest seafood in town, come on out to Peden's on MacArthur Road. When we come back, we're going to talk to a couple of players, get their input on the game, their take, and then before we wrap it up, Kayla Schmidt is going to step up to the microphone, and we're going to talk about the big match. And is it a grudge match? Does it need to be a steel cage match? Tomorrow at Terry Sanford. We'll be right back with the Pine Forest Coaches Show in just a minute.
Power Media.
Please don't make me laugh. Please don't make me.
And we are back.
Make you laugh.
Do not- we need the camera rolling during the commercial breaks. Do not make me laugh. And the first thing I do is I start laughing. Welcome back to the Trojan Coaches Show right here at Peden Seafood and Catering, brought to you by Scott Service Company. Thanks to Jonathan and Leah Scott for their sponsorship of tonight. If you're interested in sponsoring the Coaches Show, we do have a couple of openings left, so check us out at Pack Power Media, and you can email us at packpowermedia@gmail.com. But, man, it is my pleasure to have one of the stud defensive players for the Trojans, Tyreek Williams, in the big chair. My man, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Don't be shy now, man.
Nah,
I heard you
he's making me
talking.
laugh.
I heard you talking over there, man. You couldn't hush him up except when he was eating his fish, and now you get him over there with the microphone. He's like Cindy Brady.
I'm good. I'm just, out here just chilling.
Just chilling. You're a
Yeah.
junior.
Yes, sir.
How do you like playing for Coach Choka? We're gonna throw you under the bus right quick.
I love playing for him. He basically like inspired. He inspired me and stuff.
Did you
like
spend all summer at his house in the boot camp too?
that. No, sir.
That was just DJ and Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you play defensive end,
And
linebacker.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a preference of which one you play, or which one you like more?
I really like defensive end better because I just started playing linebacker this season, so it's kind of like confusing me. But I'm getting to it now. So
So defensive end, man, you're just going up the
Yes,
field,
sir.
trying to get to that quarterback.
yes, sir.
So that's good. How would you rate your performance in the game Monday night against the Raiders? Do you have any sacks?
Yes, sir. I only got one sack.
All right,
my-
Bo, I hear you.
Yeah. My goal was like about three sacks, but
Dexter Lawrence, you want to be?
well, I only had 8 tackles and 1 sack, but
Wait a minute now. He only had 8 tackles and 1 sack. Man, that's a good stat line right
yeah,
there.
it's okay. I'm trying to aim bigger and better.
Try to aim bigger.
sir.
Hey, man, if you got to aim for the stars, if you hit the moon, you're still all out of this world.
Yes, sir.
You hitting the weight room. You're looking pretty big there. What you benching? About 300?
No, I'm not
Come
that
on,
strong.
man,
I'm not
don't
that
be
strong.
modest.
254.
254. That's all right. As a junior, I mean, that's where you want to be. When you've
I meant 255. That's what I meant.
255?
255. That's what I meant. 255.
I thought it was 254 and a half.
No.
But I mean, we'll round up. That's
Okay.
fine. 254, 255. Do I hear 256? 256. Do I hear 256 now? When you're out there on the field and you've got that tackle coming at you, you gotta shed him to get to the running back. Man, what's your favorite move? Have you developed one yet?
The swim move is my favorite because I could just it's real quick and I could mess up the offensive lineman. So yeah.
All right. Did you go to any camps this summer?
No, sir, I didn't.
You did. You're planning to go some this summer.
I try to.
All right. I mean, you got to be seen, right?
Yes, sir.
We need to get some highlight video of you. Have we got any highlight video of him, Coach? Oh,
You trying to play me? Come on now.
all right. I mean, we can
Yeah.
help you with that. We can shoot some highlight video.
Okay.
My wife will give you our card later.
He started for me since the ninth grade. He's been on the varsity team since ninth grade.
All right. So you've been through some big games. You've been to the playoffs.
Mhm.
So you were on the team last year that went to the playoffs.
Yes, sir.
So but 3 years ago you won the conference.
No,
Tied
No.
4 years ago.
Britt won that year when we 10-1.
That's right. What's your favorite subject in school?
Math.
Math.
Yes, sir.
My little daughter she just made I heard her over there. She can't stand math. What other extracurricular activities do you do in school? I mean, in the band, you in the math club?
No, sir. No. I don't join no clubs, nothing like that.
Nothing like that. You sing?
No, sir.
Can
I
you
don't sing.
dance?
No, I cannot dance.
Cannot dance.
Cannot
You just
dance.
want to hit somebody.
Yes, that's all I do. Just football, straight football.
When you're looking at Grays Creek this week, they run that funky wing tee offense. What's your assignment? What do you have to do in order for the Trojans to be successful this Friday night?
I just gotta maintain my position and stay home and don't go upfield, and that's about it.
Now, how do you communicate? I mean, when you're down there and the crowd's cheering and it's loud, how do you communicate with your other defensive linemen, to either run a stunt or something like that, let everybody know what's going on?
Really, I just look at them and tell her like which way the play is going or something like that. Just look at the middle linebacker, the one that's mainly in charge, and that's about it.
All right. What are a couple of your goals for this season? You talked about you want to aim high. So what are a couple of your goals that you want to make sure you hit so we can track you as we get towards the end of the season? We're going to hold you accountable.
Okay.
Because
so,
you're talking intergalactic right now. That their internet thing is on.
And he's already sent it out to go watch it live. Everybody on the team knows.
It's okay. I'm just trying to make about.
Yeah, Levante.
Try to get about 70 to 80 tackles and about 10 to 15 sacks.
All right. I mean, you got some big-time quarterbacks. You got Christian Jane. You're going to have to be chasing around the old big Justice Galloway Velasquez.
Ain't really about that. I'm not really worried.
Not really worried about them?
I got my defense.
You got your defense? That's what's – you got to have confidence. He's got his confidence right there. And I'm sure I'm missing a quarterback. Xavier Bullock over there at E. Smith, man. The man's he's a Houdini.
Yeah, he's really quick. And it's okay. But I'm getting him. About 2
All
sacks,
right.
yeah.
Sounds good. Well, now we're going to put Jaquise on the spot. He's been over there in the front row of the peanut gallery making some comments. Come on, big boy.
In that fish.
Let's get you up here now. You're dragging that fish. So that is Tyreek Williams, defensive end linebacker for the Trojans, who we've just had on. What's up, my man?
What's up?
You got the you're wearing the big number this year. Who was the last one that wore 53? And we know what he's going to be doing this weekend.
Yeah.
He's going to Notre Dame for the Georgia Bulldogs starting. All right. So you're playing offensive line, defensive line. Which one do you like better?
I like offensive line better, but I just use defense to get my stats up.
It's kind of hard to grade an offensive lineman. I mean, I was an offensive. I was an all-pro center.
I mean,
But it's hard to you can't grade them. But there's no pancake blocks. Hush. You're making fun of me over there. I mean, what's he ever played? I mean, the only football he's ever played is a video game.
only really thing like before I was on defense, got put on defense. I mean, on my highlight tape, I mean, coach really wanted me to put up the solid blocks that I made, but I mean, I really tried to focus on the pancakes and the blow up and stuff like that. But I just learned that I gotta look at more of the solid blocks, the blocks that not really pancake but good solid blocks where the hole will be and stuff like that to put on my highlight
It's
tape.
all about the footwork, baby.
Yeah.
All about that. I remember that. You had to make sure you got that first step in order to get the leverage.
Oh yeah,
Get up under them shoulder pads.
Yeah. I got pretty good footwork.
All right, so you're on the offensive line, tackle, guard,
Tackle.
Who's the best end you've had to face so far?
This year?
Yeah, well, period.
And I would say 71st. I think it was my 10th grade year. It was some dude number 1.
Yep, I know who you're talking
Yeah.
about. Emmanuel Ukaligbe.
That man, something
He's
serious.
a beast.
So
Playing at
big.
Fayetteville State right now.
A beast.
So you like playing offensive line, man. What's it like trying to open up a hole for Levante or for Dominic?
Not hard. It's not hard. I say it's quite easy. You just gotta, like you said, footwork and getting under the pass. Pretty much.
Right.
I mean, even if the hole not big, they
guys
coming
just
either
give him a
way.
crease.
Yeah, at least if you give him a crease, Vontae, he's small enough to squeeze through that dime. He blowing everything up, even me and the other person.
So don't tackle your own guy.
Yeah,
you're on-
everybody.
And when you're on the defensive side, you like that because it pads your stats, man.
Yeah.
He was talking about the swim move. Was Tyreek? You got a favorite move?
Swim, but I add a little fake to it.
Little fake swim?
Yeah, get
With
by.
a half twist and a gainer?
No, not all that. just a little jab, then swim, or I might. It's either that or I'll come off and then I'll pull him past me. So I can do that little push and pull.
All right. Looked like you've spent a little time in the weight room.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who's benching more, you or him?
Me.
All right. What you about 272?
Nah, about 295, 300.
295, 300. How much you squat?
Basically 500.
Man, that's a beast right there now. That's very good. You got anybody looking at you?
Nope.
Why not? What have you done to separate yourself?
I mean, last year I messed up because, well, yeah, it was last year because Coach Son, Matt, he was like, you got to make your highlights during the year, not after the year. And I waited until the whole season was over to try to make mine, and everybody on the team already had their highlights and stuff made. So I figured that was one, and then I never knew to send out my film to coaches and stuff like that. And I mean, I went to like 2 camps this summer, but that was really it.
All right. Where would you like to go play?
So I don't want to go far. I mean, D1, any D1, I'm going anywhere, but
Campbell?
going there too. I'll go to Campbell, but one school I'm looking at, probably A&T Central, something like that.
All right.
I mean, pretty much.
Is this your senior year? 'Cause
Yes, sir.
You're a
My
senior.
senior.
Okay, I was thinking you were a junior, but you are a senior.
Yes, sir.
This Friday night, you got the Bears. You're going over to Grays Creek, man. What have you got to do to play your best to put your team out on victory?
I'm not playing offense this week, so I'm starting defense. So my main problem really is I over pursue. It's easy getting past the person. It's the going up the field is the hardest part. I gotta learn how to get past and break down. So that's really gonna be the major problem this game. But I mean, it's not gonna be a problem because
they're going to be shifty, man. I mean, he's a good
Yeah.
running back, is
Yeah.
Cedric.
Yeah. And I mean, over the stuff that we learn, I ain't gonna say what we learned because I don't know who's watching, but we learn pretty good stuff. So me and Zay Potts should have a pretty good game this game. Actually, the whole D-line should have a good game this game.
All right, we'll be looking to talk about it next week.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's Tyreek Williams and Jaquise Hernandez, 2 of your big What? Oh, okay. I'll turn around and look at the camera. I thought I messed up again. Man, I got them grading me here in the audience here. But hey, when we come back, it's finally time to talk some tennis. We've saved. Sure, Bill. We would love for you to ask Jaquise a question.
Jaquise, you want to tell the world what happens when your mom leaves the house?
You really gonna do that?
Oh no, we'll talk about it next week.
It happened a long time ago, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say it. I had a bad habit of eating when I was little, so every time my mom left or my sister left, she put a padlock on the freezer and the refrigerator and stuff, so I wouldn't eat up all the food. But it don't happen no more. I'm pretty good on it.
So you don't eat?
Nah, I eat now.
Okay.
I be finding the key.
You're finding the key.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, who was the wide receiver that went 10 yards down the field? Yeah, on that.
Probably Jameek. Wasn't that Jameek? Yeah, probably.
Number 5, was that his number, I think?
No, 5 was.
Vontae. That's Vontae.
That's Vontae, yeah. Hey, it's still a great game. We're looking forward to big things from the Trojans this Friday night at Grays Creek, 7:30 kickoff over there in Bear Country. If you're going to head over there, you want to watch your Trojans play, you catch all the action, you got to be there at 7:30 for the kickoff. But, hey, when we come back, we've saved the best for last. We're talking tennis. That's right, tennis, anyone. We've got your balls and your rackets coming at you for the big match tomorrow at Terry Sanford. We're going to talk about the Trojans making their way over to Fort Bragg Road when we come back, because we're rolling on the Trojan Coaches Show, brought to you by Scott's Service Company, right here from Peden's Seafood and Catering.
Power Media.
All right, and we are back for the segment I know you have been waiting for. It's tennis time. The U.S. Open is going on up in Flushing Meadow, New York, but we're going to have our own version of the U.S. Open. We're going to have the Fayetteville Open tomorrow at Terry Sanford High School. The defending 4A Mid-South Conference champs, the Pine Forest Trojans, are going to travel over to Fort Bragg Road to take on the defending Cape Fear Valley 3A Conference champions, the Terry Sanford Bulldogs. And right now, I've got Kayla Schmidt and Shania Lane. Ladies, welcome to the Trojan Coaches Show.
Thanks for having us.
Man, y'all have been over there, just jump, and now y'all are gonna act like you've never spoken before.
No, I mean, just ask me a few questions, and I'm gonna answer.
All right, so so you're let's see, I'm going down here. You're tied for first place. It looks like at the top of the leaderboards right now, it's Pine Forest, Cape Fear, Terry Sanford.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday you played Cape Fear. Tomorrow you're playing Terry Sanford. So you. So it was on Max. It was on NCPrepSports.net.
Was that back?
Yeah. Some people. So this week you've got to play the other two teams at the top. How do you like playing those? Having to play Cape Fear and Terry Sanford back to back?
It's a bit of a challenge, but I like challenges. Pushing me to another limit, seeing how I can play under pressure. So, I'm looking forward to the match. Playing Terry Sanford, that's probably one of the best teams in the conference, but I'm really looking forward to playing them for the first time as a real match.
All right. And Kayla?
I think it's just a lot for 1 week.
It's a lot but don't you want to measure yourself against the best?
It is a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure in 1 week, but I mean, we can take it.
You can take it?
We can take it.
So we tried to
I
get your
can.
coach here, but he kind of bailed on us. Jared.
New little baby.
Baby on board. He's sick or the baby's sick? I think the baby's sick. Okay. Well, okay, Jared. We're praying for you. Okay, so Shania, what position do you play? I mean, what seed are you? I'm not sure if it's position or seed.
It's position.
Okay.
It's a ranking system, but I'm ranked number 2 as of right now.
And Kayla?
Court 4.
You're on court 4. So what would you say, Shania, is the strength of your game? When you go out there tomorrow, well, how do you what phase of the game do you know you can dominate your opponent?
My serve. That's one of my main, dominant features. I serve pretty fast, so.
She has a nice serve.
Nice serve.
I don't want to get hit by that.
Have you had any aces so far?
Yes, I've had.
How many?
I don't keep counting that, but
Well, somebody does. I mean, that's a stat. Is aces not a stat? Okay. So somebody's Jared. We need the stat. Text in. Is Jared online? Text in that we want to need to know. So your strength of your game is your serve. When you got to go to the net, I mean, do you have the big overhand, or are you just looking to slice one over with some backspin on it to make him run, and the ball's going to go left on him?
I'm more of a slice person. I don't do too many overhead smashes. Because, I mean, in my game, I don't have, too many situations where I need to do that. I kind of keep it simple, just slice it down, do a passing shot.
All right, so far this season, what's your record?
My record as of right now, I lost one. I don't know how many matches I played. How much? Richmond.
Oh, let's see.
Oh, crap. So it's probably
So you've lost one,
yeah,
lost two.
Lost one. Are you talking about this season or just all around?
This season.
Oh, I only lost one, and
Only
I
lost
don't.
one.
I don't remember how many games we played. I just know I lost one.
All right. Well, hey, not everybody's undefeated. Okay, for Kayla, you're on court number 4. You said you did not play yesterday.
Yes, I did not play.
You let her have the microphone, Shania. Because everybody wants to hear. Everybody's been waiting. She's been here long. So how come you didn't play yesterday? Is your knee still bothering you?
No, I just messed up during practice one day, and I showed up late.
All right. So when you're on court number 4, I'll ask you the same question. When you show up, in what phase of the game do you know you're going to dominate your opponent?
Probably with placement. I like making them run and tire them out, and then hit a good shot where they can't get it.
So you're a shot placement. You like putting them where you can really get it to where you want to go. Because you're a senior this year or junior?
Junior.
Junior, and
I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore, so you got a long way to go. What's the strength of the Trojan tennis team?
I feel like one of the main strengths, it's not even really in the game. I just love how people underestimate us a lot. Because, I mean, we have gotten better over the years, and I love to see how people can change their opinions when they play us. I really love that. But, you know, we're getting better and better, and every day just keep on working at what we're doing. So I think that's one of our
Sounds
strengths.
good. Kayla, if you could say something intimidating to the opposing coach right now, what would it be?
She loves me.
Yeah, I can't say anything bad to her.
She loves me.
For those of y'all who can't see, the opposing coach is here. So that's why I had to set this up here. That's why she's blushing.
Kayla was my manager when I coached the Pine Forest Bulls.
Yep.
I remember.
I coached with her.
So tomorrow, you got a prediction?
I have a prediction.
You know, kind of like when Mr. T was going up against Rocky. Pain. I feel pain in your future. Rocky Balboa, you should have never come back.
I don't have a prediction. All I'm going to say is just be ready.
Just be ready.
Just be ready.
All right.
Because anything can happen.
All right, the U.S. I'm sorry?
We're definitely going to fight tomorrow.
Most definitely.
Definitely going to fight. So match time is 4 o'clock. Last question, U.S. Open's going now. Who's your prediction going to take home the women's crown?
Venus Williams. I'm hoping that she can pull through.
All right.
Yeah.
And then what about on the men's side?
I don't pay attention to men, but
That's a good answer. Your daddy loved that answer right there.
But you know, I love Roger Federer, so
All right.
I'm hoping that he can win too.
There's always a safe bet with Roger Federer. So, hey, we're here with Shania Lane, Kayla Schmidt, tomorrow, 4 o'clock, at Terry Sanford. It's
Be
the
ready.
battle for the ball.
I'm not
Pine
gonna hit you,
Forest,
God.
Terry Sanford, tennis, the best 2 teams in the area going at it at Terry Sanford tomorrow. You want to be there. We'll bring you some action after everything's over on Pack Power Media. But, hey, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of the Pine Forest Coaches Show. So we want to thank Kayla and Shania. We want to thank Tyreek and Jaquise. Again, always want to thank Bill. We want to thank our new waitress, Jordan, who's just left the area. As always, we're so
Thank
glad.
you so much, because you gave me that good old baked potato, and I was in love. Thank you. That's it.
And we got some fish going on over there, and we're very, very glad to have producer Jake Matlack back in the seat, making us look good this week. So glad to have everybody. Thanks to Jimmy, John, and Ricky for making all this possible here at Peden Seafood and Catering. And a big thanks to Jonathan Scott, Scott Service Company. When you need your air conditioning, your heating system replaced, when you need it worked on, call 309-2270. Tell them Pack Power Media sent you so you can get that Billy Mack special. That's going to wrap it up for this week's. Everybody stay safe during Hurricane Irma. Go ahead and make your provisions now, folks. It's a serious storm. Turn around. Don't drown when you see the high water. We want to see you back next week watching us eating fish and shrimp right here. So that's going to wrap it up here at Peden Seafood and Catering. I'm Billy Mack. We'll see you next week.